Hey, happy Friday. I wanted to come on today and talk about the state of Florida, and not the state itself. I mean like the general state of things here. I mentioned before, I've been here for a very long time. My family moved here in 1994. I've been here since I was 8 years old. Back then, it was old Florida. It was a bunch of old people. People called it God's waiting room. I grew up maybe 5 houses on our street. It was a bunch of neighborhood kids, alligators, snakes, sandhill cranes. Sandhill cranes were everywhere then. Don't mess with them. My friend Nikki, she messed with one once, and this thing chased her for years. It was hilarious and fantastic because I told her not to mess with him. But I digress. We used to have fun. We played in the woods. We built forts. Nobody knew where we were. We were in the woods. And it was great, and it was lovely. And I'm sure a lot of people know the last couple of years, everyone and their mom has moved here. The woods are gone. You know, there's no playing outside because there's nowhere to go. Cars are driving down my neighborhood street 70 miles an hour. It's crazy. The traffic is insane. The city of Port St. Lucie has let them build up every lot in this city, but it's done nothing about infrastructure. We can't get into doctors. You can't drive around here. It's literally, I would rather get on the turnpike and drive to Orlando than drive around town. That's how bad it's gotten down here. And I understand that these are first world problems. I understand that people have it a lot worse in a lot of other countries. Hawaii's on fire. I get it. I don't want to say this to dismiss other people's issues. I just want to talk about the issues in Florida because I'm getting to the point where we're seriously thinking of leaving, and we've always lived here. My partner's born and raised. He's 47 years old, born in Boca. You know, we're used to South Florida. This is where we have always lived. We love it, but things are changing so quickly that we're seriously thinking of getting out. And it's just crazy. It's crazy. It's sad. It's sad and it's crazy, you know? So I almost was debating if I'm going to do any videos for a while. I have a broken tooth. I'm not going to show it. If you can't see it, you can't see it. But that's been a whole disaster. No one takes my insurance. I'm going to have to pay out of pocket to fix my mouth, which is my own fault. I've made some bad decisions. I should have been on top of this sooner. I shouldn't have waited to eat cold pizza crust and break the thing before I went in there. But it's insane that I have insurance and I can't get in. So my son has insurance. I had mentioned before he broke his arm last month. When we went to have his cast taken off, we had to go to the second floor of this building, and they take our insurance there, his insurance, and they wanted to x-ray his arm before they took the cast off. So they sent us downstairs in the same building. And they said, we don't take your insurance downstairs. We only take it upstairs. So now you have to go to the hospital to get the x-ray. That's normal. That's normal. That's what's going on. I don't know if that's how it is in the whole country. Maybe the whole country's a mess. Honestly, I've been looking at places outside of the country too. If anyone has any advice on where we should go, it's so built up down here that it's really just difficult to do anything, you know. And it's happening so quickly, and it's making everything so expensive. I mean, milk has gone up multiple dollars in the last couple of years. That's not how inflation works. And then, you know, they're slowly raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, but that's not even a livable wage. And we're not even there, you know. And people complain about the $15 minimum wage, but you want these things to be open during the day, right? Like, there's, you know, people say, oh, well, McDonald's is a part-time job for teenagers, so you shouldn't be making $15 an hour working there. Okay, so if that's the case, then it should only be working during part-time teenage hours, right? It should only be open, during that, right? So if you want to go to McDonald's on your Tuesday lunch break, who's going to serve you if they can't make a wage to pay their bills? It can't be a teenager because they would have to be in school. Like, we have a water park down here, Sailfish Splash. It's run by IRCC college kids, or IRSC it's called now. It's only open on the summer because that's when they can work. So we have to pay people, you know, or you should, you know. People should be paid. You should be able to live your life. And it's gotten to the point where everything is so expensive and service is terrible everywhere. And, like, I don't blame them. Like, I wouldn't really care about your Burger King order either if I'm getting paid $7 an hour to make it. And I can't live on that. And I can't pay my bills, but I still have to go work and care about your Whopper. No, it makes sense that service is terrible. What doesn't make sense is why everything is so flipping expensive. It's like these companies some things, I know there were some issues during COVID with getting supplies, blah, 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 especially down here. It's hard to get things down here. But there were a lot of companies that were like, oh, well, if you guys are getting paid for that much, more, then I'm going to just raise my prices too. And they didn't need to. It wasn't hurting their bottom line. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just ranting, I guess. And I feel like I've gone completely off the topic that I meant to be on. But, I mean, maybe not, though. I guess the topic was that Florida is insane. Yeah, the state of Florida, the general state of things was my topic. So I'm not that far off. Insurance, home insurance. How crazy is that? Everybody's home insurance is going away, or it's going up thousands of dollars a year. So even if you're budgeting, even if you have savings and you're doing well and you're ahead of things, how are y'all paying your homeowner's insurance? Okay, so say you don't have that, right? Say you rent. Aren't the rental prices insane too? I mean, it's crazy. Mid 2000s, right? 2010, 2012, something. We had an apartment in North Bay Village. That's a nice neighborhood in Miami. It was a high rise on the bay, 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, just floor to ceiling windows, gorgeous views. We paid $1,800 a month. Now I understand that was about 10 years ago, but you couldn't get a 1-bedroom around here for $2,000. And I'm now 2 hours north of that in a more rural area. It was rural until, 2021. And it's just insane. It's insane how anybody can still afford to live down here. I have a good friend who they are making really, really, really good money. She's making great money. Her husband makes great money. They have a company. They make so much good money. And they had left for a little bit. They were traveling, living in the RV, and so they had sold their home. So they came back a couple of years ago, about 2 years ago, and now they can't afford a house. She was just approved for a mortgage for $300,000 more than the last time she bought a house. And now she can't find anything. She's approved for over $400,000. And there's not a single family home with a roof. That's an insurable roof, that is. For that price. That's insane. That's really, really crazy. And again, people aren't getting paid more. How many people are homeless? It's just, and then what are you supposed to do about school? So now they're going to change the curriculum and they're going to teach that slavery was the better alternative for African people. The fuck? What the fuck? How is this okay or legal to teach this? I can't send my kid to school like that. I mean, I was planning on homeschooling anyway, but then I was thinking, I have to get a job because we can't afford to just breathe here. But now I can't send him to public school. Not here, not teaching that nonsense. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Honestly, the whole general state of the state is fucked. Honestly, I sit here in shock constantly, and like, I get it. Things have been going downhill for quite some time. Honestly, when the whole COVID thing started, I was like, we're going to wake up in a dystopian, future. We're going to wake up in a sci-fi novel. Little did I realize we were already there. I just hadn't realized it. Again, jumping subjects, talking crazy. So, when Trump was first, the day of his inauguration, my best friend called me at like 6 a.m. And she was crying and she was screaming and she was acting a fool and she was very upset about Roe versus Wade. And I was like, Brittany, I mean, this man's barely elected. Like, I mean, I know that this isn't a good idea for the country, but like, he can't do that, right? You can't overturn Roe versus Wade. Guess who was wrong? It was me. I was dead wrong. He put that Catholic woman on the Supreme Court, and guess what happened? Now a literal clump of cells has more rights to our bodies than we do. It's fantastic stuff over here. Honestly, I just don't understand. I don't understand how they're moving us so far backwards, ethically, morally, but charging us $1 million more a day to live our lives while they take our rights away, while they teach our children bullshit. So this company that has the new curriculum, I heard PragerU, right? They said, yes, this is indoctrination, but it's okay. It's good indoctrination. Did nobody read 1984? That's literally, this is the plot. This is what happens. They indoctrinate the children, and then the children are the spies. There's a whole book that's been out about this for quite some time, honestly, guys. The book's been out for, what, half a century or more? You should read it. We should all read this. What are we going to do? Does anyone have a plan? I don't know what to do. Vent to YouTube? That's all I have for right now. I'm considering leaving the country, but where do I go? Mexico looks good. There's some places in the Caribbean. Portugal's interesting. I don't know. Thanks for listening to my rant, I guess. I feel like there's so much more. The weather. The weather's insane, right? We're having some of like the craziest. We've never had like these crazy heat advisories before, you know. And global warming, or climate change, we're calling it now, right? Cool. I'm on board. I completely agree. This is a terrible situation. So what did we do down here? We ripped all the trees out to build more houses. The Lorax is gonna come for y'all, right? How's the temperature supposed to go down if we don't have no trees? I don't know. I'm sad. I'm sad for the future of this state. I'm sad for the future of this country. I'm sad for the future of our children. I don't want to be like this mopey, sad, you know. I want to do something about it, but I don't know what to do. And also, if you didn't know, one more last thing. They are going to have the Trump trial in downtown Fort Pierce because traffic wasn't bad enough around here. So if you have anything to do in downtown Fort Pierce, no, you don't. You should have done that last week because I believe that's starting soon, but I can't really keep up because then I would just be more upset. I would be more upset and more sad, right? So then that's the catch-22 too, right? Like, you don't want to not know what's going on. You don't want to not be involved. You don't want to not vote, not try to make a change. But the more you hear, the more you slump into your depression. Well, happy Friday. Try to have a good weekend. Sorry if I brought you down.